Ted, next up from Montgomery, Alabama. What do you hear from coaches off the record about Deion Sanders? Whew, Ted, a lot. A whole lot. Just yesterday, I was talking to 2 coaches about this. A lot of coaches don't like Deion Sanders. I'm just going to be real with you. I do. I find myself on the phone a lot of times defending Deion Sanders, kind of given the counterpoint to the point that some coaches are making to me, and it's never the same thing. So some coaches don't like his brash, in-your-face style to the players, to which I say, you guys have done some of the same stuff. You just didn't have a camera crew following you. But I digress, and that's nothing I hadn't said to these coaches, I promise you. Other coaches don't like how aggressive he's been in the portal. And there will be allegations sometimes that you're recruiting guys into the portal, to which I also say, whomst amongst us, whomst amongst you. And then there's a third element where I think their real problem is just jealousy, and then they mask it as, well, I've really got a problem with A, B, or C. No, D or J. J is your problem. Jealousy is your real problem. So there is a lot of distaste right now in the coaching community for Deion Sanders. There are a lot of folks rooting for him to fail. That's what I hear from coaches. Now, I would never give you names, but that's what I hear from some coaches. Now, there are a few, I would put him in the minority, but there are a few who are pulling for him. There are a few who look at it and say, hey, man, he's a change agent. And it'd be hypocritical to look at him and be mad at that when some of the other coaches I talk to have tried to change things in their own unique way. But the thing about it is everyone's going to find out at the same time. And if what Deion's doing is working, then, if what he's doing is working, it's going to reinvent college football in a lot of ways. Because all of a sudden, what you thought you couldn't do, all of a sudden you can do now. But a lot of coaches look at what he's doing right now and they say, well, it's one thing to go get all those players. It's another thing to create a team. They're not wrong about that. I don't disagree on the record or off the record with them about that. But a lot of them think that it's this science experiment that's going to fail horrifically in Boulder, and you're going to get in all these pieces, but can you gel them? Can you build a team instead of a roster of individuals? And that is not easy to do. I don't think Deion's ever said it is. That's why I also, on our end, I've tried to temper expectations for the win-loss record in year one. And that's also why I have warned you ahead of time. There's going to be an army of people. Whenever they lose games this fall, going to be an army of people out there who are very, very quick to get to the nearest microphone. And they're going to be saying things and writing things and broadcasting things about how, well, maybe this wasn't so popular. Maybe this isn't working out. Well, guys, they won't all be coming up with that on their own. They're going to have sources in their ear, and a lot of those sources are going to be a DB's coach from a Big Ten school, or a wide receiver coach from a Pac-12 school, or a head coach from an SEC school texting them saying, see what I meant? See what I meant? Told you. You guys were all over him. We told you how it would happen. And then those media entities will be the conduit, and you will get those anonymous coaches' messages delivered to you. It will just sound like a reporter who's doing it. That is coming. I hear from them all the time, and I'm happy to listen to them. Our network of coaches that I talk to is very extensive. It is, I rely on them heavily. I always tell them, if you hear me say something wrong, hit me up, and boy, do they. And with Deion, they have listened to me talk about him, and I have had no shortage of coaches who are happy to get on the phone or get in my DMs on Twitter and say, hey, let me give you my point of view on this. I'm happy to listen. Happy to listen, and you guys may very well be right, and I may very well be wrong. I always appreciate the feedback. Happy to listen, but I'd be lying if I told the question, or the asker of this question, that everyone was just sunshine and rainbows pulling for him behind the scenes. They're not. They're not all pulling for him behind the scenes.